Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be Attachments Create Suffering. Well, I've got 3 emails I'm going to go through with you today. And obviously, the one thing that they all tend to have in common is these guys are attached to things they want or the reality of their life that they want to be other than it is. But before we get into it, I got a quote that I wrote that I want to share with you before we get into the first email. And it says, attachments to things you want, people who you want to be loved by, and time frames that you want things to happen in create suffering and prevent you from being happy in the present moment. Jobs, careers, businesses, relationships, lovers, friends, etc. that no longer serve you will dissolve and disappear from your life. Let them. The reason they dissolve is that they have served their purpose in helping you become the person you are right now. In order for you to fulfill your destiny, new people and better circumstances need a space in your life so they can fill it. Without that space, they cannot manifest. Therefore, you must allow people and circumstances to effortlessly choose you and to choose to be in your life instead of trying to hold on to the past and force what does not belong to stay. If you focus on allowing what you want to come into your life instead of trying to force things, your life will be much easier, stress-free, effortless, efficient, and you'll be a much happier, healthier, and content person. So let's go ahead and jump into this first guy's email. And all of these emails that I'm doing today are guys that have, these are paid email responses. In other words, these guys sign up for email coaching, and typically when guys are paying for the email coaching, they tend to write really good emails. That's why I use a lot of them in my video coaching newsletters. It's about half and half. Half of them are people that are random people that are writing me, and when I see a good one, I think this is a great topic for a video, those are the ones that I choose to talk about in the video. And this guy, he writes pretty good emails, and I've probably answered 2 or 3 of them in video newsletters in the past. So he says, hey coach, thank you for your brutal honesty. You answered in the last video you did for me why you're just friends. It later helped me when my ex texted me a Merry Christmas, to which I assumed was her moving forward. I replied 8 hours later because I had lost my phone with, hey doll, Merry Christmas to you too. I'd love to see you. When are you free to meet up? Where have I heard that before? There's this guy Corey Wayne on the internet, and he says that a lot in his videos. And it's amazing what happens when people listen to that and actually use that. Because it's a completely unattached way. It's not that you're sitting around waiting in backup. You're putting out there your desire of what you want. You're being clear in your intent, and you're being direct. You're not chit-chatting, sending 15 fucking unnecessary bullshit texts back and forth. You're being a man who knows what he wants. And the phone is for setting dates. It's not for getting to know somebody. It's not for chit-chatting. Attraction is not a choice. You don't need to send 50 texts to somebody back and forth to get them to like you. If they're reaching out to you, or if you meet a girl in person, you ask her out on a date, she either likes you or she doesn't. She doesn't have any control over what she feels for you. Just like you don't have any control over the women, if you're a guy, that you're attracted to. It just happens. It's something that clicks inside you internally, and you say, wow, look at that fucking body. He says, in the past, she always got mad if I didn't respond to her within an hour or 2. Well, that's her fucking problem. And when somebody gets angry and upset, what you gotta understand, behind anger is always fear. And obviously, what do you think she's fearing? She's fearing that you don't love her and you don't care about her. That's the only reason why she'd get angry or butthurt, because you didn't meet her expectations. One of the things that Wayne Dyer says that I love, he says, other people's opinion of you is really none of your business. And besides, if she's getting all pissed off and butthurt, instead of being nice and saying, oh, well, maybe he's busy, maybe he's got something going on, maybe he's in meetings all day, he'll get back to me when he can. Because I know he would never just jerk me around. And a woman who's flexible and has a good fucking attitude, that would be the way she would approach it. But a woman who's insecure or who's needy is going to get mad or is going to get upset. He says, I got no reply. That triggered me into thinking I had to do something. Oh, the illusion of action, trying to creep up on you. That's the thing. So being non-attached means you say the response that you said, which is, hey doll, Merry Christmas to you too. I'd love to see you when you're free to meet up. That's your purpose. That's what you want. You throw it out there. Now, if she spits on it and says, I don't want that, I don't want anything to do with you, or just completely ignores you, nothing you can do. You put it out there. That's what going with the flow is all about. You don't want to swim upstream. Swimming upstream is just what he said. I feel like I have to do something because she didn't respond right away. That's the wrong thing to do. You only wear yourself out. It's just like you get caught in a rip current out in the ocean where they teach you. Swim along with the shore. Just go with the flow of the current because eventually you'll swim out of it. If you try to swim against it or try to make a beeline for shore, you only wear yourself out and drown. It happens to people all the time every year. But if you just go with the flow, you'll easily swim right out of it. So he continues on. He says, this triggered me into thinking that I had to do something, but I reread the hell out of your book and listened to the video on why I was friend-zoned by her. I was able to retain my centeredness again. Doing more of what got me where I was would not help me. Good for you, dude. That's a motherfucking son of a bitch to be able to do that. It is hard as fuck. But you're dealing with your own inner demons. You're dealing with your own fears that, oh my God, I'm never going to hear from this person again. You got to give her this space and the ability to choose you, to want to be with you. And when a woman reaches out, you assume it's because she wants to see you. You're direct. You try to make a date. And if she blows you off or she ignores you, just let it go. Let her go be present with her feelings, her emotions, or whatever it is. Maybe she's butthurt you didn't get back right away. Who fucking cares? It's not your problem. You got back to her when it was convenient for you. She ain't your girlfriend. You ain't together anymore. She has no right or claim on your life or your time or how you respond. She should be appreciative that you got back to her in the first place, because you could have just blown her off and completely ignored her. He says, I'm frustrated by this, and it had that it had such a strong effect on me. Well, this is a process. Just be present with the emotions that you had instead of getting mad at yourself and butthurt, because there's really nothing you can do about it. Just be present with those feelings of frustration and just repeat it to yourself, speak it out loud. When you're by yourself, I feel frustrated. I'm really mad and upset that this had a strong effect on me. You got to feel it to heal. I say it all the time. So when you get into those emotions and you just feel them, instead of avoid, because if you just avoid what you're feeling and take a bong swat or you take a drink of alcohol or you eat a bunch of chocolate or some chocolate cake, or you go exercise excessively, or you turn the TV on and you turn the radio on at the same time, and you're doing 2 or 3 things in your house to try to distract yourself. It's like what happens if you've ever seen a child when the child starts misbehaving. Usually it's because he or she wants attention of his mother or his father. And that's the way, the dysfunctional way they go about getting attention. As soon as that parent is present, fully present with the child calms down, communicates what's inside, why it's hurting, and goes right back to running around screaming and yelling and having a good time with his brothers and sisters. He says, I've come to terms that she may be sleeping with another guy. It's really none of your business. She's not your girlfriend anymore. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. Don't be attached to that. He says, so what? It's none of my business. You've been listening. Good job. Harder said than done. Well, it's like every guy has a relationship that's like kind of the defining one, the one where you kind of get over that hill. And I wrote about the one that I had many years ago. Getting to the place where you want the person and you're crazy about them, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Because over pursuing or not pursuing enough is not going to get you to where you need to be. It's like you got to find that balance. You got to be okay or get to a place, and it only happens through time and repetition, where you accept whatever shows up. You're cool if she comes back. You're cool if you never hear from her again. Because this gives her the space to choose you without you trying to force anything. And it makes you feel incredibly powerful as a man and a woman when you put yourself in a place to where the other person can choose you. Because then you know they're in your life because they want to be there, not because you manipulated them or forced them. Because if you were able to force them into your life, you're never going to feel comfortable. Because deep down you know on some level that person really is not there because they want to be. They're there because maybe they feel guilty because they don't want to offend you or they don't want to upset you, whatever. He says, my only comforting thought is that 97% of the men out there don't know what it takes to be a man and are going to fuck up. I want to be a 3% man. In the past, before your work found me, she's left me because I've acted like such a weak bitch. It's great that you admit that. Admitting your own weaknesses and your flaws and faults is the first step in being able to overcome them. That's why I talk about things that have happened in my past, and I don't really give a shit what other people think about it. The reason I've experienced so much success in my life is because I've failed so much. Failure is one of the greatest teachers, and if you can become okay with failing and getting rejected or things not going your way in life, you're going to be much happier and be able to move on much quicker when things don't go the way you want them to. As soon as my life starts picking up, she always comes back, though I never understood why. I realize that when I am in my peak confidence, I am a strong alpha male. Women flock to me. People look to me for leadership. Opportunities and adventures present themselves at my door. Exactly. This is all about being the alpha is. It's like the gorilla, the silverback. It just, all the rest of the gorillas in the group respect the male silverback because he's the most dominant one. And they all look to him for leadership. They all look to him for protection. So does she, and she magically is attracted to the 3% that shines for a little while. We have been broken up for a year and been off and on since then. This time, I feel that it's not fair to her to give me the countless number of opportunities that she has, and I end up acting like a weak bitch. Exactly. All women deserve your best. Whether or not they're a good match for you really doesn't fucking matter. You at least have to show up as a man and be an alpha and put your best foot forward and allow that other person to choose you. Because when you come from that place, then you can make the choice to also reciprocate interest and to reciprocate wanting them to be in your life. And if someone's not good for you, then you can walk away from that situation completely and not feel bad about it. He says, I accept that it's my fault. I have a gut feeling that she'll be back. Probably, just like a boomerang. But before she does, I want to learn how to be a 3% man, being centered, masculine, a leader, and living my own truth. I hated your first response, but it showed me that all the ways that she reacted to me was just a reflection to how I was presenting myself to her. That's truth. Sometimes truth is a bitter fucking pill. And it's like when I come across somebody that says, you suck, and your work sucks, and your book sucks, I feel compassion for that person because they had the truth in their hands, and they're just simply not ready to embrace what is. Because the beauty of what I do is I teach what works. And that's why I put all these videos out there and all these articles on my website, and even let people read my book for free on my website. Because I know if they apply it, the shit will work for them. Because I've been applying this stuff for 25 fucking years. I've been mastering this part of myself. And if you study what I learned, you gain my life experience and life experiences of all the amazing people that I've studied and learned from as well. So you don't have to suffer and go through many decades of failing and being miserable. You can literally apply this stuff in a matter of days, weeks, and months, completely change your perspective and the way you look at things and completely change your life. He says, I was fearful, out of control, and I friend-zoned myself and chased her to this new guy. In my mind, I used to blame it on her. Yeah, it's like none of us want to take responsibility that we fucked up. But it is what it is. What happened, happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way because that's what ultimately led you to my work. And because it led you to my work, she was exactly put in your life at the right day, in the right time, in the right moment, so you could have the experiences that you had for her, with her, I should say, and you could show up and start looking and find my videos or find the articles on my website or my book and start applying this stuff because this helps you fulfill your destiny. It's like I've come along in your life at just the right time so you can learn what you need to learn from me and you can become the person you're supposed to be so you can become whatever it is that you want to become. He says, it was always anybody's fault but mine. I turned 20 and I've made it my life goal. I have to get this handled. I want to be the kind of man that my future children would be proud of having as a father, and as a man women can feel comfortable and feminine with. I'm doing this out of self-love. Also, I want to be happy, her to be happy with or without me. That's fucking brilliant, dude. That is actually a really fantastic fucking email that you wrote. And I'm proud of you for applying this stuff. You're 20 fucking years old, dude. I was so fucked up and messed up when I was your age. And it's like, and to have this perspective that you have at 20 years old, just imagine when you get to be my age, how you're going to be way further ahead when you get into your 40s than where I am today. If you continue on this path that you're on, you keep applying these things. Because this has an exponential effect of increasing your life in an exponentially better way. When at 20 years old, you're applying these things. I mean, it's amazing. Just imagine what you're going to be able to accomplish in the next 2 decades. I'm so happy for you, dude. So let's get into the second email. This guy says, "Hey Corey, I got to compliment you for the wonderful work and advice that you do. I so relate to you because simply you approach things from a gentleman's position, and that's just like who I am. I would hate for myself to lower my standards to get women's attention like some PUAs to push for with their strategies." That's why none of those guys ever talk about relationships. For them, it's the instant gratification. It's hooking up, and then they're looking for the next piece of ass, but never really having great quality relationships. But you know what? That's okay. If that's what they want and that's what works for them, then all awesome. Different strokes for different folks. Whatever blows their fucking skirt up. He says, "My situation, it all started on Facebook and her interest was very high in the beginning. I set up a date, we went out, and it was amazing. We kissed and everything. The second date was even more brilliant, and we had a heavy, passionate makeout session, and she was hinting about long-term plans. However, after that, in about a week, her interest dropped noticeably. She was sending me less what's up apps, less kisses, etc. Well, that tells me that you're talking too much on the phone. The phone's for setting dates. And with all these different Snapchat and WhatsApp and all these different things that are out there, people are in constant contact with one another. And that's why you should just go along with the texting or using your cell phone number to make dates. Because remember, it's a scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. And if you're constantly texting with a girl all day long, all day, every day, it gets boring after a while. And guess what happens when the woman gets bored? She stops reaching out. There's no reason to get together if she already knows everything you've been up to. Women love mystery. They're like cats. When the cat gets bored, it leaves and it goes and roams the neighborhood. And when it starts to miss you, guess what? It comes back. And that's why you can't run after it, because it'll just keep on running. He says, on the afternoon of the day we meant to go out, she sent me a message saying that she doesn't feel like she knows what she wants and the rest of it, although I really do like you and want to stay in touch. So in other words, what she's communicating to you is that you're smothering her and this is happening too fast. Instead of being this fun, romantic love story that's just evolving slowly over time, it already feels like you're in a relationship. She doesn't feel safe and comfortable at that point. She feels like she's losing her freedom, and that's exactly why she said that. That's why she responded the way she did. Again, the phone is for setting dates. This is what happens when you don't follow that. And that's why just walking away, just having the attitude of, hey, what I would have responded to is, I would have said, hey, well, we got a date. Let's keep the date and let's have fun. Let's not worry about the future relationships or any of that stuff. And then she still says, well, I'm going to cancel anyways. And say, great. I'm sorry you feel that way. Get in touch with me when you change your mind. I'd love to see you. And then you just walk and never look back. You have to. That's the strongest position to come from. He says, my downfall is I didn't come across you and I didn't own your book by then, so I messed up my response being a bit from nothing like would be nice to hear from you when your schedule's clear. She is stunning on all levels, an actress and a dancer, and has an amazing personality. And I later knew or found out that her ex was back in the picture. I wished her Merry Christmas for damage control, and she replied with friendly greetings. What can I do to reignite the spark that she had with me and raise her attraction level again? Absolutely nothing. You got to walk and never look back. No amount of you chasing is going to turn things around. You've got to give her the space to choose you. I was planning to tease her a bit through brief messaging like I started from the first place and test the waters. Absolutely not. She disrespected you and ditched a date. She basically tossed you aside like you were nothing. And so for you to come back is communicating, hey, it's okay to treat me this way and blow me off for another dude. Your attitude should be, I ain't a fucking backup for nobody. I'm a catch. I'm fucking awesome. And if you're too stupid to recognize that, and if you're too selfish or you're wrapped up with some loser ex-boyfriend that didn't work out the first time around, not that you're going to say these things to her, but this is your own internal attitude towards it. It's like, hey, some other girl is going to get the gift of being with me, and you're going to miss out on that. And I feel sorry for you because I'm an awesome dude. And so you walk and you never look back. He says, this is, however, not slowing down my dating with other women. Exactly. That's the proper approach. So what you need to do is nothing. You need to walk and never look back. Because if she has any kind of feelings, or if things don't work out with the ex, which they're probably not going to work out, then she's going to wonder why she hasn't heard from you. Because 99.9% of every other guy, if she's really hot like you say, she's got fucking 10 other dudes like you in her life. And they're all thinking, oh, what can I say to her? What can I do to her? How can I get her to change her mind? But instead, you're acting like a man who has self-respect. You're not the nice guy who's going to continue to run after her and act like the gay male girlfriend or the emotional tampon. He's going to be like, hey, I'm out of here. And that's all you can do. You walk and you never look back. But if she reaches out to you again in the future, what do you assume if you read my book? You assume that she wants to see you. Hey, babes, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. When are you free to get together? Then make a date. Don't fall back in the old habit of chit-chatting on that WhatsApp that you were using, because then you'll just end up friend-zoning yourself again. But if she reaches out, assume she wants to see you, make a date. Hang out, have fun, hook up. If she's chasing you, she's not blowing you off. Because if she's calling you, if she's reaching out to you, it means that she values you. Best way to handle it, dude. You'll never get anywhere chasing a woman that's blowing you off like that. So let's get into the third and final email. And this guy says, hey coach, my wife and I have been separated for a year. We had a terrible fight 1 year ago, and it ended in her being taken away in handcuffs. Nice. Jerry Springer, anyone? She still blames me totally. Well, of course she's going to, because your job as the silverback of your relationship is to be the alpha, is to be the leader. It's to be in charge of the fun-filled love story that you're in. But instead, you allow things to spiral out of control, obviously, and she got out of control to the point where the police realized that she was the abusive one and they took her away in handcuffs. But it takes two people, and so both of you participated in a very dysfunctional way in an unhealthy relationship. So you both have to take responsibility for that. He says, I left her alone, and after a month I contacted her in a blitz of affection and the caveat that both of us needed help. Well, good for you for admitting that you needed some professional help. She responded, and ultimately we began dating and going to therapy together. Good for you, because then you can talk about things with a third person that is experienced and educated and helping people learn to communicate like adults and not act like emotionally irrational children. He says, now 1 year later, she has an apartment in both of our names, and we date, and I pay 2/3 of the rent. It seems we are now drifting apart because she must work long hours to make ends meet, and I too have less money because of our two households. I sense my need for control and her passive-aggressive personality to punish me for any perceived offense. God, it's like I so remember. I had a girlfriend. I love the shit out of this girl. That's exactly the way she was. She fucking punished me when I did something to piss her off instead of communicating that. It's almost impossible to have a healthy relationship, but at least you guys are in therapy together. And my suggestion is to continue with that professional help. He says, as real issues, a week ago, we met at a nice hotel. I took her to dinner, and afterwards we had great sex all night. Hang out, have fun, hook up. That is a magic formula, and you followed it that night. He says, I cannot afford this routinely. That's okay. You don't have to do hotels. You can go to parks. You can do public events. You can go like, there's a historical site that, at least in the United States, it's maintained by the government. It's like $10 to get into those things. There's all kinds of cool stuff in your area if you just will look and take the time. If you've got a smartphone, install Google on it. Install Google Maps and just Google cool things to do. It's amazing how good it is. And you'll never run out of fun things to do that don't cost a lot of money. Remember, it's a love story. Women want to be in a love story. They want a guy who's mysterious and who they never know what he's going to do next. He says, this week she attacked me for not caring that she is broke, and I'm trying to control her with my money. That's important to get her to talk about it. And obviously your therapist, I'm sure, has been trying to teach those things to the both of you. And I'm sure he or she has given you skills and techniques and tools to use when your wife reacts this way. And so when she gets upset, you should say something simple like, honey, I understand that you're upset. I'm sorry that you're feeling away. You know what? Let's get together and talk about it over dinner because I want to understand your concerns and where you're coming from. When are you free to get together, baby? I want to see you. And talk to her in a sweet voice like that. But if she can persist in being nasty, say, honey, I want to see you, but I'm not going to sit here on the phone and take abuse from you. So if you want to talk, let's get together and talk about it over dinner like two adults who love each other and who care about one another. But if she continues to be a fucking bitch, then say, look, I'm going to go. You're obviously very upset. So give me a call when you calm down. We can talk about this like adults. I love you and I adore you. I'm going to go, baby. And then you just hang up on her. You have to do that. And then when she calms down, she'll get in touch with you. That's the masculine thing to do. Because no one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. So you don't let her continue to abuse you. But if you handle her in that particular way, she'll submit and she'll go along with what you want, even if she fucking slams the phone down on you and walks away. Because you tried to be civil, and you tried to be loving, and you tried to be sweet, and she wasn't having any part of it. And as a man who has self-respect and self-love, you're just simply not going to tolerate that bullshit. Because she's going to learn one way or another that the only way to interact with you is in a healthy, loving, sweet, kind way. And when she realizes that she's not going to get anywhere by being a bitch in high heat and high heels, she'll cut that shit out. He says, I accused her of cheating on me. I've not contacted her since then, which was 3 days ago, and it's painful but necessary. I understand. I am not sure what to do when I do recontact her. Wait for her to get in touch with you, dude. Because for you to contact her, you're just communicating that her shitty behavior is okay. You've got to let her know that when she treats you bad, your time becomes scarce in her life. Or your presence, I should say. He says, or do I wait for her to contact me? You wait for her to contact me. She's Russian and they have different norms, I believe. I've viewed your videos and I've ordered your book. She's very religious. She goes to church every week. And she can be so warm and caring. And yes, she's gorgeous. And she walks like a model. But I sense drama all of my life with her. She's 42 and I am a young 61. Good job for dating younger women, bro. He says, there's much more to this than her negative relationship with my 16-year-old son. And last summer I contacted an old girlfriend in Russia and we are flirting. And I know what I want. In my last years, I want a family. She's single and has a 4-year-old son and seems excited about the possibility. She's age 35. You deserve a woman who treasures you and who cherishes you and who treats you good. So you reward good behavior with your time. And you also, when you get bad behavior, she doesn't get to see you or be around you. And she'll learn very quick that if she doesn't treat you properly, you're fucking out of there. So stand your ground. And plus, you got another possibility, another 35-year-old, an even younger woman that. And maybe she'll be sweet to you, and maybe she'll be nice to you, and maybe she'll appreciate you. Remember, you got to allow a good, healthy person into your life to choose you. And you've got to set your boundaries and set your terms, because if you just let your wife walk all over you like that, you're enabling her behavior and you're inviting her to continue to treat you in that fucked up, dysfunctional way. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book phone, Skype, or email coaching, and you can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your page on any page of my website, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.